I guess I'm alive too.
We're like twins. We're both wearing a hoodie. Are you wearing a hoodie?
Yeah, yeah, it's a hoodie.
Yeah, we're like twins. We're like brothers from a different mother. Uh, so I'm in Canada right now, and so my whole like fitness regime has fell off. I think I ran like maybe 2.5 miles the second day that I got up here, and that's it.
Huh. Yeah, I did a 10K on Saturday.
Yeah.
Um, it was pretty good. It was really fun. It was in Duluth. I don't know if you've been to Duluth, but the interstate kind of runs right along the shore there. So they shut down the interstate, and then you ran through the tunnels and stuff through it. It was pretty cool. Um, but I did pretty good for myself. I mean, I did it. I ran in an hour and 10 seconds total. So, and I was 44th out of 143 or something like that. So middle of the pack, but still upper half. So that was good.
Okay.
Um, but but then I haven't run because I think I was starting to get runner's knee, where my knee was starting to hurt. So I just let it go for a few days, and then I ran probably 4 miles last night.
Do you use the little foam roller?
No, no, I don't think so.
That's supposed to work well. Um, when you lay on your side and start rolling on the side of your legs, it stretches out your whatever tissue that surrounds the knee. So
Hmm.
hopefully it gets reduced.
Yeah, I'll have to look that one up because yeah, it was pretty sucky to have that happen. And
Because you know the science behind it, right?
isn't it something
Behind
like
what you're experiencing.
your quad pulls your kneecap
Yeah.
up, like up further, and then you get air and I don't know something
Well, I
underneath
didn't
it
I
being
didn't hear about the air
inflamed.
part,
I
but
don't know.
what was explained to me was like a muscle imbalance where like one muscle is significantly like overcompensating for the other muscle, and as a result like there's like grind against like bone or whatever that stuff is
Hmm.
like. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Anyways, it sucked, but I felt good last night. As it's not really hurting this morning, so I might be temporarily out of the woods. But we'll see. And then I signed up for a 10K next Saturday
Holy crap.
too, because there
Yeah,
was one in town.
you're serious.
Yeah, so I'll be doing. You know, it's Ludum Dare next weekend, so I'll be doing game jam. I'll stop in the morning really quick, go do this 10K run, come back, clean up, and then go get back on my game. But hoping that that'll help clear my head because usually at that part in the game jam, I'm pretty like uh, all over the place with stuff. So and then after that, the week after that's the half marathon. So and then I don't know what my plan is after that, other than I'm going to sign up for this. I'm going to try to sign up for this grandma's marathon next Friday, or I'm going to sign up next Friday, but it's in June of next year. So the registration opens on the 1st of October, and I think it's one that fills up pretty quickly, but we'll see.
Mm.
That's my end game, I guess.
Yeah, I should be back in Miami. I'm doing a road trip, which I don't think it's going to go well.
Instead of flying.
Yeah, instead of flying like Toronto to Miami, like I feel like I'm going to catch a case. Cuz like I don't know, I feel like it's going to be so stressful
Are you
that
renting like a car, or
no, there's a car up here. Instead of shipping it, the plan is to drive it all the way down.
is it a big car?
No, it's a Civic.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Um,
Brace yourself.
yeah, yeah, a Civic toddler.
And you're how tall?
I'm 6'7".
Oof. So
So
you need
it's
like
one,
a Escalade or something like that, or a
and
Suburban.
I was considering like, all right, so if it's a road trip, then what are some things I would like to what are some checkpoints that I would like to hit? And the only thing I can really think of is I want to like observe a Civil War reenactment. Like I want to see a whole bunch of racist rednecks dress up in Confederate uniforms, drop the N bomb a whole bunch of times, and like shoot or stab, some Union people. And I'll just like eat my popcorn and just watch it. And apparently, there's one going on this weekend in Nashville, but that's like 2 hours out the way, right? So that's like a 4 hour just driving, not even talking about the actual entertainment. Just the driving is like 4 hours, right? 2 hours
Yeah,
there, 2 hours back. So I'm like, I don't know if it's really that important for me to observe that. Um,
yeah. I'm looking at the drive now. So your fastest route is to go down through Buffalo to Pittsburgh to Charlotte and then down to
ye-
Miami.
yeah, it's two likely checkpoints are Cleveland, my hometown, right? And then Charlotte, right? I got some family over there. And then probably somewhere in South Carolina, and then Tampa because I got family there, and then Miami.
Oh, so you'll be going kind of all over. Then you're not just going to take the straightest route.
No, like I said, I don't think I'm built for it, man. Like I did a road trip from Cleveland to Montgomery, Alabama to Miami, and that took me 30 hours. I mean, I spent the night in Alabama, but like
Hmm.
I'm stressed. I don't want to do this.
Wonder what it is from Toronto to where I am. It seems like it should be like a much shorter trip, but I bet it's probably not even.
It's far.
Yeah, it takes a bit to get around those Great Lakes. It's only a 16-hour drive from Toronto to where I live, apparently. Oh, you can take a ferry. It looks like across
Really?
Lake
Ontario?
Michigan. I'm guessing it's a ferry because it literally goes right across the whole lake. They don't have a big bridge across Lake Michigan, do they? Yeah.
No, it's not like the Keys. I wish there was a tunnel that they would just dig underneath the lakes. Because like
Yeah.
from Cleveland to Detroit it's like 90 miles, but there's no tunnel, right? So you have to like do a right angle or something, and it takes like 3 hours to get there.
Yeah, you have to go through Buffalo and then all the way over, or through Detroit and then back around. So there's no way to get across Lake Erie. They don't have like a ferry type service or anything like that. Huh.
Yeah. I I think I'm gonna do a conference talk, a new one. All right. I still have on my list one for this mobile delivery app, but this one I think this one's going to be like organizational, right? So the title is "The Error of Their Ways." You think that's a catchy title? So I think I'll probably have probably like another 10 slides, but essentially it discusses the last gig that I had with emphasis on had, and some of the red flags or the calling signs. And so essentially the context is like I'm hired on to participate as one of two architects for building out this like telemedicine app. The last solutions architect had like left like 6 months ago, and so that person has been replaced, and now there's like two mobile architects for a single mobile app, right? And so that's a context. And then like the staffing is interesting. So like there's a director of engineering, there's a solutions architect, and of course there's other like folks involved. But in regards to the one of the solutions architect or one of the mobile architects for like the member plan, right? Basically a member's account. They have like two seniors and I think like two juniors or whatever. And those two senior developers that are on that architect's team for the member plan of the application, uh, they're they're the actual customer. So the customer hires a consulting firm to assist them in building out this mobile app, um, because they need, I don't know, some mobile app experience or mobile development experience. And so and then there's another part of the app, which is telemedicine. So you have a member plan and you have telemedicine, right? And the telemedicine part is like you go ahead and you request, virtual care, and whether it's something mental going on with you, or I don't know, you got a rash or herpes, whatever it is, like you can get like virtual care.
Yeah.
And so that side is owned by the consulting company. Now, the consulting company provides both of the mobile architects, but it's all the consulting companies side of the house for building out the telemedicine system of the mobile app. And so that team, right, is myself as like the other mobile architect within this app. And then there's one senior, and then there's like two juniors with like no mobile experience at all. And then there's like a QA engineer. And that person is offshore. All right. So in regards to management on the customer side, there's like a director of engineering, there's a solutions architect. Um, and again, that's on the customer side, right? The customer company. And then the actual consulting company that they hired, there's the agile coach, product owner, scrum master, and then like, the two architects that aren't listed, which I should probably put here. Architect one, and then you could say architect two. Okay. Or you could say, how do I do this? Say member plan, and then this one is telemedicine. Okay. Telemedicine. I can't spell. All right. If you notice, these, I don't know if you could tell through your screen, but these are a different color for a reason. How do you put a strike through a word? Is it a effect?
Oh gosh. It's just a format, but I don't know if they have it. Go to font, the font dialog, ... It might be in there.
Go to font dialog, ...
Yeah. Strike through effects. Yeah, there it is.
You're so smart. All right. So, hold up. You said font.
Yeah.
I learned this week that
on it's up. Stop. I learned this week that those ... dots, the ellipses on menus, means that it opens a dialog. I caught that on a random tweet.
You didn't know that?
Oh, yeah. I never put that together before.
Oh wow. Okay.
But I wouldn't have thought to put ellipses on my menu items before. So like that UI pattern never was evident to me.
Well, that's as bad as me thinking at like university graduations. I thought like summa cum laude was the actual like last name of a family.
No.
I was like, God damn, they have a lot of people graduating. Like, why are they all Indian and Asian? Like, and I was serious. Like, I didn't know. I mean, why would I know? Like, I don't come from that type of like family background or culture.
Yeah.
Anyways, so like that's what management looks like, and you see how like these two have strike throughs: the director of engineering and the agile coach, right? Uh, which I'll get to a little bit later. And so the challenges there were like a couple challenges, at least three, right? One was premature staffing, and so instead of like actually analyzing the requirements and then designing the project. And when you design a project, you're identifying the activities that are going to be involved, the amount of effort per activity, the critical path, what can be done in parallel versus what has to be done in series. Um, like they staffed this project prematurely, and so like and there were like just issues with how they managed the project. One was the team was not included in the hiring process of any of the members that were hired onto the team. Like it never like occurred to them that maybe, you know, the lead developer, maybe the architect, or maybe the product owner, maybe the I don't know, scrum master, maybe somebody from the actual team for building out this component of the system probably should be involved. But no, it was decided for the team, and the team just wasn't included during the hiring process of the people that would actually be working within the team or with the team. Um, and then the other part was they had the wireframes put together, but the wireframes were still like under review, and there was only one wireframe that was approved for work out of like probably like at least for this telemedicine, probably out of like maybe 20 wireframes. And so you hire like this team of people, like three developers, an architect. Two of them are like juniors with no experience at all for building mobile applications. One is like a rock star, like senior, but he's only rock star at UI frameworks and like has a lot of development opportunities or growth opportunities for like sustainable application development. The person was great for like building out minimal viable products and has a history of like building it out and then walking away, not having to like maintain it, but doesn't really understand the consequences of certain like decisions of how they build it and their over reliance on like frameworks. And so uh they then hired like so they only had like one approved wireframe. So you have like a product owner, a scrum master, an architect, two junior developers, and then a senior developer. So I think that's like six. That's held responsible for building out one page of the application that's approved, and that's it. But so you take the hourly rate of each of those members, and you multiply that by if 1 month is 160 hours, you multiply that by 2.5 months, right? So 160 and 2 is what, like 320, and then I don't know, you add another 80. What is that, 400 hours times whatever the average of six developers are? Hell of expensive for one page that was approved to be built. And so like they just didn't think everything through, and as a result, because money is just like I don't know being burned through, like people are starting to get stressed, leadership starting to get stressed on both sides, etc. And then they hired an offshore QA engineer, but they still didn't have any work planned, right? And so like there's only one approved wireframe. They hired the offshore QA engineer out of India that speaks broken English, writes broken English, and doesn't really have the skill set that we need to actually do the work. But they prematurely hired him too, right? And so he's on deck. He's frustrated because he doesn't have anything to do, but yet he's often asked for status, which he was given like a proof of concept. He was given a task to do a proof of concept of make a, what's this called? Spec Flow, which I think is analogous to like Cucumber or something. It's like a behavior driven development like framework. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Yeah, Gherkin given one then.
Am I sharing my screen? I'm
Yeah.
sharing my screen, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So he was given the task of like do a hello world that demonstrates a Xamarin UI test, right? And in fact, just focus on getting a hello world Xamarin UI test up and running. And then if once you get that up and running, then you can demonstrate a spec flow solution that sits on top of it, right? So your spec flow is like an acceptance test that's written in Gherkin, given whatever condition, when whatever condition, and then blah blah blah. And like he wasn't able to do that, but it doesn't matter because he should have never been hired at that point of the project. And it's just like a lot of overhead, right? So because everybody, now that they're part of the project, they're responsible for providing like status updates, but status updates on what? So in the meantime, none of the team members actually had a role in vetting other team members before they were like hired onto the team. And so there were some like trust issues like within the team. So one is like the senior developer, he was originally interviewed for the architect role, but was like declined and instead offered a senior role or a senior developer role. So that kind of resulted in him still like wanting to be like the architect and refusing any type of technical direction from me. And like, it's one thing to like challenge or have a technical discussion, but it's another thing to like completely disagree, but not be able to articulate the consequences of one's direction and why an alternative approach that you're proposing could be beneficial given how it addresses those consequences. Like he was unable to articulate that. And then the junior developers, they would have to sit through these exhausting technical discussions or technical disagreements that was really like undermining, the trust of the architect. So like that was another consequence. And then there's another challenge where you have two mobile architects on one mobile app. And so like what can possibly go wrong with that? Well, you have different experiences. You have different priorities, right? So when you have different experiences, that probably maps to different philosophies about how work should be done. And also different priorities. Like, are we building a minimal viable product for the business? Or are we building a solution for the business so that when this application is in production, it's serving the business? And if on average it takes a business 5 years for it to, I don't know, be viable, for lack of a better term, then maybe the priority is to make sure that that solution that's being built is going to be resilient to change and withstand the test of time. In this case, a minimal of 5 years. So different priorities. Like, do you build a solution that can live at least or serve at least 5 years of any type of change that may be directed towards it, or do you build a minimal viable product? Two very different perspectives, right? And that's what happens when you hire two architects for a single application. Is there's a lot of ceremony, a lot of discussion. And then like the other part was like architects weren't empowered to choose their development methodology. So even though like the other architect and I may disagree on probably a third of some of the decisions, which is completely different from me disagreeing, or not even me disagreeing, my lead developer disagreeing with almost every decision I made. At least the two architects, we respected each other and we understood like the reasoning behind like why we had differing opinions. However, even when we did agree, like for example, like the methodology was um, like feature branching for building this software, but it came with some challenges. And like I understand that it's not. Sometimes you can't really blame the methodology. Sometimes you have to hold yourself accountable and say, was I practicing this methodology effectively? Right? Did I have the other practices in place in order to be successful with this methodology that I'm attempting, even though it's not really serving me at the moment? And so you have to like hold yourself accountable to some extent, kind of like the book you recommended of what's the name of the book by that military dude?
Extreme ownership.
Extreme Ownership. Like sometimes like you have to ask yourself, is it or is it me? Right. And so like I think we're both conscious of that. But we said we are conscious of it, but we still want to try or pilot an alternative methodology, and we want to do trunk base. And the reason why we want to do trunk base is while we're doing feature branching, if there's nothing in production, this is a greenfield project, and we have been bitten by merge parties. We have been essentially a merge party that I've learned is when it takes several days to resolve merge conflicts. And even after that, you still lose work, and then you have to re-add files and re-add references to those files, and it's just time consuming. You're not continuously integrating, and like there's consequences to that. So we both were in agreement that doing trunk based development would probably be more effective, have higher throughput, and like we're we're two different teams on the same app, but like we should be able to trust each other and we should be able to stay on top of quality because pull requests is not the only way of performing a code review. But when we were told that that decision wasn't up to us on how we deliver or how we build the software, um, there's an external like architecture review board or committee, and they tell us how we're going to do it, which I was kind of like not expecting. I would have expected a board or a committee to tell us what it means to be done and what the technologies we're allowed to use, but not how we're going to build this, what methodology we're going to use. And the reason why, like, it's kind of awkward to have an external committee dictate to two architects that are actually in agreement how something's going to be done is because this external committee has no accountability for the status of the project or the result of the project, whether it succeeds or it fails. Their decisions, they're not held accountable for. And so like that was another like red flag. So, and then there is just challenges with development in which some of it I touched on, like feature branches are often resulted in unplanned work. Or let me say that over again. I don't think I was grammatically correct. Feature branches often resulted in unplanned work. And so you have multiple resources or multiple developers pairing on merge conflicts and iterating on that until things are finally resolved. And then you had two junior developers that had absolutely no like mobile experience. And then you had one senior developer on the team that disagreed with like 95% of every single technical direction that I provided. And even though that senior was a rock star at a UI framework, such as like Xamarin or back in the day, Silverlight or WPF, he was essentially junior as it related to like satisfying actual business objectives. Like, why is this software being built in the first place? Is it really to demonstrate the features of a vendor framework or a third party library? Or are we really building this application to serve the business? And repeated, exhausting conversations or debates on should we be building this application to revolve around a framework or should we be building this application to revolve around the nature of the business? and it just became exhausting. But these were all the challenges for development. And so then I got like 3 more slides, and I
Mhm.
literally started writing this like 2 hours ago. And so then it was proposed to me as an architect that I'm supposed to define, propose, enforce an architecture for the system, coordinate efforts with other mobile architects, and prepare and participate in meetings that account for around 40% of my day. And then also serve as the lead developer, in which I'm supposed to mentor 2 junior developers who have no experience in mobile development, and then mentor the senior developer on architectural vision and the consequences of what they try to propose that deviate from the technical direction that I'm providing. And I'm supposed to be coding 50% of the time every single day. And so the reality was paranoia of missing impromptu meetings, struggling to find time to have my own lunch, exhausting debates with with a senior developer, 2 architects with different priorities, and a group of people thrown together and declared a development team. And then I was going to put a slide on the debacle of within 2 weeks, the director of engineering leaves the organization, and then the agile coach leaves the organization for yelling at a senior leadership member. And that's the slide deck that I was putting together.
Jeez. This was your 2 times ago, right? It was, or is it this last one you had?
No, the last one, they decided to part ways Monday. They saw the last mastermind video that we had together, in which I was venting, and well,
You get yourself in trouble, buddy.
I'm not getting myself in trouble.
Yeah.
Like the solutions architect, he has this obsession with me where he likes, for whatever reason, he likes to crawl like my social media, and then he'll report to his leadership. Scott just posted on Twitter that he needs guidance on team building, or Scott, his YouTube video, he started venting about how he doesn't understand why an external committee should be defining how a project gets done. Like, so he'll just go around like snooping on anything that I do online and then snitching on me. Like, I don't know, like something.
You're canceled, buddy.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know, something's not right with him, man. Um, but anyway, that was it. But those were also the dynamics, and so it's like, okay, like the writing was on the wall that this organization needed a lot of help. But my plan was like, all right, you know what? I don't want to tap out. One is because I actually like the recruiter that placed me here, so I don't want to disappoint the recruiter, even though like this is very frustrating. Um, like I want my recruiter to like trust me, and I want to like I got 4 more months to like I don't know do this contract, and then like I'm out or I'm asking for more money because like this is kind of unreasonable. But they saw my social media, or he saw my social media or YouTube, and he was like, "Oh, no, you're not meeting expectations." And I'm like, "What expectations? We just had a one-on-one like Friday. Today is Monday. Nothing came up. Uh, I have a status update multiple times a day with you and other members. Nothing came up. There's no paper trail. There's nothing. So once again, you are providing unsubstantiated statements that have like no backing whatsoever. Oh well, we'll put together a list of what you didn't do later. I'm like, all right. So the issue is obviously like I was unhappy there, but I still wanted to stick it out. And he was crawling my web footprint or my social media, and decided to find a reason. Oh shit, I gotta call him back. Hold up for a second.
Sure.
Yeah. So that was pretty much it. But I think that what I experienced there. Hold up for a second.
Yep.
So that's pretty much it. I guess I could stop sharing my screen. How do I stop sharing? No, so I was saying that I try to take every event and try to figure out how to convert it to my personal like opportunity. And so if this is an event where like it's a learning experience, at least for others, or you can like take you could take something that was somewhat effed up and generate a case study from it, and then lessons learned and how you would do things differently or how other people can do things differently. I feel like this is an opportunity to really like analyze all the dynamics and then provide a solution on how, if I were in charge, how I would address things. I'm curious of your feedback.
Yeah, I mean, it's the difficulty with it is that you don't know. You're just projecting on what you think could have been the outcome if done differently. But I mean, obviously there's some problems. I don't know. So overstaffing or like misstaffing, I think that's probably a big thing. Like my last gig, we had there was a team lead for a while, and they came to me and said, "Okay, do you need more people?" And I go, "No, we are overstaffed. We have too many people. If we keep it, in fact, we could probably lose one or two people, but it'd be better for us to keep a small, tight group that can just go fast on things." And then I was informed like an hour later that they're adding 2 people. It's like,
Were they sitting on their hands?
we found work to do, but it wasn't like it's kind of like, what is that thing where work grows to fill the space? Like,
Yeah.
we don't actually need to do this, but or we could have probably got it done by just recouping the cost of additional like pull request time and then the conversations that we have to have with each other. I mean, there's the other side of that too. Is sometimes the end game isn't to get the immediate thing done; it's to build up staffing for something else you're doing, and to get somebody into the ball game. But if you're doing it with contractors, it's not.
No, I think that things can be staged, and so like one is like you get a project, you analyze the requirements, and I think the first milestone is putting together the architecture and laying the foundational code base so that there's some structure. There's an established design that can somewhat constrain developers into a way of writing out the code. And then I think once that's established, then you start loading more developers for feature work. Like I really do believe that. I don't think that you should have a green slate. You hire hella developers and then you just expect them to start coding user stories, and there's like no like design for the business that has been like established for them to actually do their work on, that will reduce risk, that will reduce the risk of a complete system rewrite, that will reduce the risk of security concerns or security issues. Like that stuff, I think is a priority, but I don't think people really read books on like software project planning and software design, and like how a design can actually like upfront mitigate a lot of those risks where it constrains you to do things a certain type of way. And if you can abstract away some of the security concerns where like it's just handled for you behind the scenes based on the way that you architect the system or design the system, like I feel like it's a win. But
Yeah, the other thing that I've seen too is the whole. And I've been lucky enough to miss most of this, but there was one situation where we had a board that kind of dictated things or was there. It's just heavy. But yeah, I wouldn't have. I guess if it's kind of like I wish that in that case that you described it, like, yeah, if you want to try chunk based development, it's just do what you need to do to get the thing done in the best way possible. I don't
that
understand
that
why people
meets our
dictate.
guidelines, right?
Yeah.
So there's probably still white lists of vendor technologies that you have to use, or that you
Oh
can't
yeah.
go that you can't go outside of. Like, I get that part. And there's probably, like, a set of, like, requirements or on what it means for this project to be completed, right? And that could be defined by them as well, right? But you have the only two architects of the project that are held accountable for delivering this project, and they tell you, hey, we both agreed and decided that we're going to use this methodology to deliver this work, to deliver this software. And the solutions architect is like, no, that's not your decision. No, we have to go to the board and ask them for their blessings. I'm like, why? They're not the one doing the work. They're not the one that's held accountable for this work failing or not. But yet they're telling us how we're going to do it, right? And then when I went in front of them, I think I already told you this. Like, I give a quick, like, 3 to 4 minute, like, intro, and before I start going into details about uh, why trunk base and the consequences of feature branch, um, I made the mistake of asking, all right, before I move forward, are there any questions? Once I opened that up, it was over. I barely spoke again. They just dominated the entire, like, meeting. And so, like, in the last masterminds that we had, I was like, some of the things that they were saying, it wasn't factual at all, and I wanted to cross examine them, but I never had the opportunity, nor would I think I would be allowed to, because they're like the committee, right? So who am I to, like, cross examine them,
Mhm.
even though that he cross examined me? But I'm like, yeah, but I can speak very highly on this. I can actually go into details, evidence, and I can be rigorous in explaining, like, what practices you need in place in order for this to be successful. Now let me cross-examine you to see what practices you had in place, but they won't give me the opportunity. So, I mean, lesson learned, but it's like, what can you really do but wait for your contract to be up, or wait for you guys to just to part ways?
Well, I guess you could just follow next time the maxim that it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. Just do it.
No, you can't just do it when meetings make up 40% of your day and you're relaying status over and over again. And you can't just do it when you have your lead developer disagreeing with almost every single decision you make.
Well, I'm talking about on the trunk based thing, the methodology thing.
It wouldn't work. You can't just do it.
Sure, you can. I'll
The,
show you how.
the solutions architect, no, you can't, because even if you try, you're forced to branch off. Like, the way that they have Azure DevOps configured, you can, there's like a limit on how many merges you can do within the feature branch, like taking your development branch and then merging it into feature. Like, there's a limit to that. Like, the way that they have it configured, you can't do it. But I'm listening to how you think you can.
It's Git, right?
It's
You could
Git.
literally set up a shadow. We had somebody do this at one of my places where we were using TFS. They literally just set it up in a different repo, did all the development against that, and merged trunk against that trunk, and then merged that trunk into the actual, the real one later on. So it looked like one big feature branch, but it really wasn't.
Okay.
So you could continuously develop
I
against
stand
a
I stand
separate branch.
corrected. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
It
there's
it,
ways,
it still
man.
wouldn't go over well. What, they were
Yeah,
running
oh
into the
yeah.
same issue?
But well, it's not so much. They wanted to use Git. We were using TFS at the time, like standard, like checkout, whatever. And so to just bring in there, and this wasn't a bad thing. I think as it's innovation that we needed.
Yeah.
Um, It's just that it was kind of neat that they used it in that way, where it's okay. We'll do one big checkout into a Git repo, then we'll develop against that Git repo, and then check everything back in into TFS. It's like, yeah, why not? But the thing is, they didn't really. I don't know if they asked permission. They just did it, and it's easier to ask for forgiveness if you're delivering. If you're delivering and there's no problems with it, it's easier to say, well, hey, are we delivering here? So yes, well, the business people, um, the business people and money speaks better than an architectural board. So that isn't to say that you should, be sneaky about stuff all the time. It's just if there's something right, it's there. You probably have a imperative to try to do what is right in your
Yeah.
mind all the time.
I think the difference is if there's one or two people building this out versus two different teams, like an average of like 4 to 6 people per team. Like there's no sneaking under the radar when it comes to that type of development methodology. Um, and like
Yeah,
I,
I
I think
suppose you'd have to get everybody on board on your team.
yeah, and everybody wasn't on board. Like
Yeah,
that one senior
fair enough.
developer, like no, he's all about feature branches. Like what do you mean? Like why would you do trunk based? Like so yeah, it's I'm considering taking this experience and making it into a conference talk. And like I said, I literally like just started the slide deck like a couple hours ago. So obviously like things aren't clearly thought out. But did you ever see that the conference talk on Dell when they were trying to implement microservices
Maybe was
and
that a
the nightmare that occurred? Like he was essentially bashing Dell when they attempted to implement microservices and they had like everybody working in isolation and it took like 2 hours for them to bootstrap the system and they didn't even know it was still bootstrapping. They thought that like something was just broken it, but it was just extremely slow. And does that sound familiar?
yeah, isn't it because of the idea was is that they built a bunch of services and each service had a like a SLA of like you must respond within
Yeah, that was
10
it.
seconds or something. But then if you aggregate that 10 seconds across 10 services or whatever, it's a minute, so on and so forth.
Yeah, well, I think it was way more than 10 services, but yeah,
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 yeah.
we're talking about the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so I wanted to like model that type of talk because I think it was really good. Um, I'm not the authority figure on the people side of projects, but why not go ahead and make my mistakes for a first conference talk and then get good feedback and then like try to make that a focus for the next 6 months. I don't know. I'm trying my best to take this event and make it an opportunity. So
Time to become a Scrum Master. Can you get your certified Scrum Master?
no, no.
Oof. Yeah, I'm hoping I'm out of the woods on. Well, I mean, there's always going to be organizational challenges wherever you go, but yeah, I don't know. I'm in a good place right now, so
Yeah, I could tell. It's So I've been surging on my passion project. I'm making progress, but my God, like when I hit the interview, like when I start interviewing for Azure Architect, like I understand that like I don't have the training of a certified Azure Architect. Like I get that, I know that. But I sincerely believe I'm going to be hella knowledgeable, man. Like I've been iterating through like 10 different backend services that all relate to identity, right? Managing like Azure secrets. And so like I think I could write like a 5 paragraph essay on just Azure Key Vault and how it works and what needs to be configured from client to each of the service apps. Like, man, it just have you when you wrote like your video games, was it? I understand that like you wrote it for like a very short period of time. It's kind of like a hackathon. But did you ever like have a passion project where like it was literally like hell of individual systems that you had to string up together?
No.
Okay,
No.
that's what I'm doing. So like the experience is very viable, and I'm enjoying it and being annoyed with it at the same time. Like so, don't the only system that I'm kind of embarrassed about is the customer app. Hey, Toggle Bit, please don't raid. Please don't raid this Twitch thing. He rated it. Okay. So Toggle Bit has on average like 100 people observing his streams.
Oh.
And so it may be a high likelihood that this surges to like 100 observers. Yeah, he just did it. 119 observers.
Well, that's weird.
Thanks, Togglebit. He's in one of those Scandinavian countries. He's a Rust programmer, so he spends like a minimum of 4 hours every morning, at least during the weekdays, coding up some scripts or working on a video game, stuff like that, and really engaging with his audience. Hey, likewise, Togglebit. Happy Friday, and thanks for the 120 people that are going to quickly drop off once they understand the motivation for this mastermind session.
Which is over in 8 minutes. So.
Which is over in 8 minutes.
Yeah, Gambler's like, hey, everyone's here suddenly.
Yeah,
he's not alone.
So everyone, every Friday at 7:30, Sean and I have a masterminds on our passion projects, which my passion project is building a beach delivery or beach accommodation app in which people can rent equipment for the beach, such as umbrellas or music systems that they can Bluetooth their phones through, or phone chargers, or they can order food. And I've been building it for, is it 2.5 years, or is it close to 3 years?
Oh gosh, it's got to be 2.5.
Yeah, so I've been building it for 2.5 years, and Sean has been keeping me accountable. So every Friday we have a masterminds in which we discuss life for the first like half an hour or 45 minutes, and then the last 5 minutes I say, oh yeah, this is my current status with the project that I'm on. So that's it. Your dog is like moaning.
Yeah, he's a snorter. So.
Coke.
He's like a little pig almost. This is really what he is. But.
So in this mastermind session, I was discussing my past experience from a contract or organization that parted ways with me. And so I was showing a slide deck. Am I sharing my screen? No.
Yeah,
I'm sharing my screen. Yeah, so I was showing him a slide deck titled "The Error of Their Ways," in which all the mistakes that I believe they made in managing the project, and how it led to the latest fiasco of their director of engineering leaving, their agile coach leaving, and then most recently myself leaving as of several days ago. And some of the challenges or some of the mistakes that I think they made based on their lack of like analyzing and planning, and actually like reading books on the subject. So that's it. This is recorded, so you guys can view it later. But how do I stop screen share? Then you gave me status on your project. I forgot what it was though, and it was not running. Like, well, you told me you were doing something.
Oh, last week, I was working on or looking at Microsoft Orleans, um, and I created a little proof of concept of like a bidding system for or an auction system. Um, but yeah, I haven't worked on that this week. I might actually, I might. I'm trying to think of if for Ludum Dare I could do a multiplayer game and use Orleans as the back end for it. Just because I'm really interested in that highly concurrent actor system now,
Are
and
you
I
going to
want to
code it
try
in
to
Rust, or are you still using C Sharp?
in C sharp, but
Yeah.
but that will require infrastructure to be set up so that if I create a multiplayer game, people can connect up and actually play on it. It's a hard thing to do in 48 hours, but
I bet.
and I don't exactly have 48 hours. I'm gonna probably spend about 2 or 3 hours of that uh, doing that 10K I told you about, and then sleeping for another 12 of it. So yeah,
So I actually took what you recommended last night, and I went to Configuration Manager and created a QA configuration. Is that
mm-hmm.
am I using the right verbiage? Is this called a configuration?
Yeah, solution configurations. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had a QA configuration, and then I did the if pound debug, if pound QA. Um, so thanks, because I remember it from like my C++ days, starting out in my career, but I completely forgot about it. And so this makes things a lot easier versus manually setting this in one file and then checking it in. And then my whole like file history is changing this from QA to dev, back to QA, back to dev. And I have like 20 versions in which this one line changes all the time. So thanks for recommending that.
Yeah, yeah. You normally I see it for like more for mixed platform stuff, and then like you use launch configurations or whatever for to pick which app settings you go to. But I think this works given how you've otherwise set it up. I mean, it's definitely beats trying to trying to
Yeah.
manually toggle the thing every time.
And then I added this notion of where is it at? Like this is my automated scripts. These are my tests, right? Because the goal is to get my test solution working 100%, and then once all that gets solidified again for the QA environment, then go to the customer app and the courier app and make sure that they're working, um, which should be a lot easier, right? The So this delivery request thing has this notion of where am I at? For 1 second. Why didn't that work out the way that I expected? There should be a something's not right. Oh yeah. So I added like this could be deleted. I do some C sharp programming, and I have this whole like single responsibility thing that's responsible for like taking my app config or my local settings JSON file and pulling in all the key value pairs for secrets, and then using Azure Key Vault to figure out what that secret is in order for it to make calls to other services. So that was interesting. And this right here. So am I the only person you know that has OCD with the equal operator being aligned?
Yeah, yeah. I think
Yeah.
that would drive me nuts to deal with that because it's a maintenance headache. So,
Well, in
um,
regards to source control?
well, no, it's just a maintenance headache in that you have to spend time during development to align things.
No, you don't. You just do this right here.
Yeah. But then if you like want to use the format document and stuff, I don't know, you can't really tell it.
Oh, yeah. Well, that stuff
And
should have this configuration as an option.
yeah, I
But
don't know how I guess you could specify like a rule to say if you have assignment operators assigning to a variable. Yeah, I don't know how you would do that, but
This is going to take me forever, man. Like, I got like probably 80 different services that I have to manage keys for or secrets for. This is just my event store. Yeah. It's 8:30. Is there anything else to share? Once I get back to so I probably won't be back in Miami probably for like another like 4 or 5 days. Once I get back, I'm gonna try to return back to doing 4 miles a morning, uh, my morning run, and then next Friday I hope to be 90% done with the Azure deployments.
good. I'll probably be just prepping for Ludum Dare this week. I've got a friend coming down from one of the places I used to work and from college. He's a college friend. We're going to do some Oktoberfest stuff tomorrow.
I didn't know Oktoberfest was actually in the States.
Yeah, there's I don't know. Maybe it's. I don't know how big it is around different parts of the U.S., but like here, like there's Oktoberfest type stuff going on all over the place. So just kind of like last 2 weeks in September type of thing. So I think there was an Oktoberfest thing going on up in Duluth when I was there doing that 10K this weekend. So the brewery that I'm going to has like their Jacktoberfest every year. And then there's another brewery with another one. There's some other stuff going on. So it'd be kind of a fun weekend anyways. But yeah.
Alrighty. All right. Well, it's been real. Enjoy your weekend, your Oktoberfest.
Yep. You too.
Well, Jay, the developer. I'm going to interact with some of these people that sympathize with me, and they're still on here. So I'm about to chat with them for a while.
Alrighty. See ya.
Right. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Jay, the developer, says, I follow you on Twitter. Didn't know you Twitch streams. Yeah. I stream a lot. So every Friday at 7:30, I have my Masterminds. And then outside of that, you can find me early in the morning or in the evening streaming my passion project. The only reason why I haven't been streaming lately, my passion project, is because a lot of it has been dealing with configuration files and API keys. And it's not in my interest to expose that type of sensitive data. And so I haven't really been streaming lately, only because I'm working on that task of my passion project, and I don't want to be hit with the $5,000 cloud bill as a consequence. Mod prog. Oh, if I release a version, I get the latest tag on GitHub. Makes sense. Oh, why not? I like an API key. No, I'm not going to give you an API key mod prog, at least not purposely. So what else have I missed? What else did you guys? Nope, that's it. You guys didn't ask anything. Yeah, but I'm that guy programming in F# streams. Yep, that's me. And out of curiosity, what did you and what did you guys in Togglebit discuss? I like to hop on his stream and just derail whatever he's doing. So he might be like writing some automated script to do something extremely productive and useful that others can leverage, and I'll like just come in and like completely ask some unrelated, arbitrary, out of this world question. And I feel like he probably has like feels this sense of loyalty that no matter how weird my question is or the statement that I make, I feel as if he feels guilty if he doesn't like respond to it. So I derailed him a lot of times. But I like him. I was like one of the first observers of his stream, and I told him like off rip. I was like, yo, you have a very entertaining like voice and personality. Like you're gonna blow up. And I know like 120 observers at any given morning for him isn't blowing up. Like he's not the hot tub. Well, if he had a hot tub, if he was a hot tub like streamer, then yeah, he'll probably have like maybe like 500 gay observers. I don't know how that works if he had a hot tub, but yeah, he has a really cool personality, man. And I like watching him program in Rust, even though I have no clue what I'm looking at in regards to syntax. So it was about the GitHub Docker containers. Docker is still a thing. I started working with it during ToggleBit's stream. I thought Docker was deprecated. I thought everything was all about Kubernetes. What else? Well, he sometimes derails himself. This is true. I watch him. You would watch him in the hot tub. Like I'll watch him too in the hot tub, especially late at night. Yeah, I'm about that. Then he says coding in the hot tub. I've been like, I don't know, like there's only two people that I check in on Twitch streams. It's we can actually go there right now. Hold up. So if I share my screen, give me a second. I'll show you the two people that I actually like am genuinely interested in like observing. Give me 1 second. Twitch. So it is Adam James and ToggleBit. Those are the two people that I actually like follow. So Adam James is he's a Clojure developer, and he's
a great true crime mystery unpeels itself.
And he's building he's building a CAD product, like computer animated drawing or computer aided drawing, whatever that stands for, CAD. So he's doing it all in Clojure, and he's like a self-taught Clojure. I guess everybody's self-taught Clojure because they probably don't teach Clojure at universities. But like I've been kind of like following his stuff. I mean, he only has like 270 followers, but like he's a really sharp person. He's kind of like me. Well, not the sharp part, but like his consistency. And why is this taking so long? Hold up. Yeah, so this is him right here.
You either spend too much time adjusting things or you never adjust it with colored lamps. Yeah. These are Philips Hue bulbs. So one really nice thing about them is you go to the app and it has some like you can save scenes, so you can adjust things.
So I'll fast forward some, and like this is Clojure. This is what he writes, and so like on any given occasion. Hold up for a second. Hey, what's up? Hey, morning. Oh, I'm out of the country right now.
Oops. Yeah, null pointer exception. Those aren't great.
I am, and I'm out the country. Can I call you back in like maybe 10 minutes?
Got like 19. I don't have it on Twitch, but you can use it if you want.
All right, I'll call you in like 10 minutes. All right, see.
Oh, is it like...
yeah, I'm sorry about
like
that.
Lo-fi music? Is that
so
what you're referring to?
Let me go back
Linux
and stop screen. Yeah, so like I don't know, like I don't understand anything he's writing at all, but I enjoy like I thought I turned this thing off. Hold up. I enjoy listening to him program and him like share his progress. So, and now I'm studying Lisp, so I have like maybe 3 or 4. No, I think I probably have like 5 or 6 learning Clojure videos or learning Clojure streams, in which I'm not teaching Clojure at all. I'm literally recording myself or streaming myself reading a book on Clojure and practicing the exercises. And then I have a mentor in Germany that he helps me with some of the questions that I have for an hour on like a Saturday or Sunday. So that's it. I learned that. So organize this brightness. Well, the only thing I learned at uni was Lisp, Prolog, and Java. University, I guess. Yeah. So I don't really have. Is there anything else you want to chat about before I hop off? Any questions about me, ask me anything, and I could do my best to answer it or be offended. Else I'll hop off if there's no questions in T minus 60 seconds of idle. And then this will be an awkward like 60 seconds as I wait for any question that may trickle. And as I'm waiting, I'll give a bio. Born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio, live in Miami, currently in Toronto, Canada. And I specialize, or I prefer programming in F#, which is a .NET functional first language. But usually when I'm hired, I'm forced to write C# code, which I'm really good at compared to the people that I work with. I work as a contractor. I used to say I work as a consultant, but I'm not respected as a consultant. So I just demoted myself or deprecated my title and just said I'm a contractor. And I'm studying Clojure half-heartedly. I have this really interesting technique where I write specification libraries, and then I program a business app to those libraries. And so that's kind of what I do. My blog is bizmonger.wordpress.com. So I'll quickly share that before I hop off. Is bizmonger.wordpress.com. And it's not really a blog. I just do brain dumps. So my internet handle is bizmonger. I just do brain dumps, man. I write code and then I just dump it. And this is like my technical journal. So this one is extract key value pairs from an app config file. And then there's more. There's storing Azure Function API keys, and there's displaying Azure Signal or deploying Azure SignalR. Like I've been updating this for like the past 5 years. A lot of Azure stuff, a lot of Xamarin stuff. Yeah, so that's me, bizmonger.wordpress.com. Stop sharing. And I am hopping off, so Togglebit has dumped you guys onto my stream, and now I'm taking off. So take care, Mod Prog, and AOD. I can't say your username. AOD, AODH Neon, L whatever your username is. This right here. Yeah. See you later. Take care. I'm out. Peace.